Karl Kraus, The Last Days of Mankind, A Tragedy in Five Acts. Preface. The performance of this drama, which would stretch out over some 10 days measured in earthly time, was conceived for a theatre on Mars. Theatregoers of this world would be unable to endure it, because it is blood of their blood, and its contents are of the contents of those unreal, unthinkable years that no waking being can apprehend, that are inaccessible to memory, and preserved only as a bloody dream, when operetta figures played out the tragedy of mankind, and the action, played out in 100 scenes that open on 100 hells, is just as impossible, fissured, and devoid of a hero. The humour is nothing but the self-reproach of one who did not go mad at the thought of bearing witness to this epoch and surviving it with his mind intact. Only he who reveals to posterity the shame for his share, and no one else, has the right to such humour. The culture that allowed the things recorded here to occur ought to put the obligation to weep before the right to laugh. The most improbable deeds reported here really took place. I have merely painted what has happened. The most improbable conversations that take place here were spoken word for word. The most gruesome inventions are quotations. Sentences whose lunacy is indelibly imprinted on the ear become the tune of life. Documents take on personality. Reports put on human appearance. Appearance ends up as editorials. The feuilleton acquires a mouth that speaks in monologue. Phrases are put on two legs, where people have only one left. Intonations rushing and rattling through time swell into a chorale of the sacrilegious act. Those who lived among humanity and who survived it are like the actors and orators of a time that did not have flesh but blood, no blood but ink, reduced to shadows and marionettes, and to the fixed formula of their industrious lack of substance. Larvae and lemurs, the masks of the tragic carnival, have living names, since that is how it should be, and since even in this temporal existence ruled by chance, nothing happens by chance. This gives no one the right to treat it as a local affair. Even what goes on at the Cirque corner is determined from a cosmic center. Whoever has weak nerves but is also strong enough to endure the time should keep away from this play. It is not to be expected that a time in which this could happen will take the horror that became the word as anything other than a joke, especially when it sounds in the homely cadences of the most loathsome dialects, nor that it could take what it has recently lived through and survived as anything other than an invention. An invention whose content it has made taboo. For greater than the outrage of the war is that of people who do not want to hear about it anymore, who tolerate a war that is, but not one that was. For those who survived the war has gone out of fashion, and even though the masks are passing by on Ash Wednesday, they do not want to be reminded of each other. How utterly comprehensible is the disillusion of an epoch that was never capable of any experience or of realizing what it did experience, that is not even shaken by its own collapse, and feels as little of repentance as of the deed itself, but has enough sense of self-preservation to block its ears to the phonograph recording of its heroic tunes, and enough readiness for self-sacrifice to start them up again should the occasion demand. That there will be war seems to be what is least comprehensible for those whose slogan, "It is war after all," permitted and covered up every infamous act, but for whom the warning, "It was war after all," would disturb the well-earned rest of the survivors. They had the impression that they would conquer the world market, the goal for which they were born, decked out in knight's armour. Now they'll have to settle for the less lucrative business of hawking it at the flea market. Imagine, in this mood there is someone that wants to discuss the war with them. and it may be feared that a future sprung from the loins of such a devastating time, despite the greater distance, will lack the greater power of understanding. Still, such a total confession of guilt for belonging to this humanity must be welcome somewhere and of use at some time. And even while men's minds are wild, let Horatio's message to the reformer be heard by the High Court on the ruins. And let me speak to the yet unknowing world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cunning and forced cause. And in this upshot, purposes mistook, fallen on the inventor's head. All this I can truly deliver. Karl Kraus, The Last Days of Mankind, a tragedy in 5 acts. Epilogue. The last night, battlefield, craters, smoke clouds, starless night. The horizon is a wall of fire. Corpses, men and women with gas masks appear. A dying soldier calling, "Captain, call your court-martials forth. I will not die for no emperor. Captain, you're the emperor's whore. I'm dead and won't salute no more. When with the Lord I am at home, below I'll see the emperor's throne, and his commands I will disown. Where's my village? There plays my son, when as a faithful man I died. My last field post letter just arrived. It cried, it cried, it cried, oh how deep this love of mine. Captain, you are out of your mind to have me to the front consigned. My heart has perished in the fire. For no fatherland will I be dying. You cannot force me, I won't be constrained. Look how death undoes the chains. So against death file your complaint. I'll die, but for the emperor, no way. A female gas mask approaching. Here fell a man as I can see from God's will. Our kind too have a duty to fulfill. In these serious times there is no time to flitter. Clothes do not make the man, nor the woman either. Misery and death and dirt confer equal rights, honor to the species when gender is denied. Male gas mask facing her. Pray that your features could get used to mine, you pretty masked creatures, anonymous mime. Stricken with horror, we carry out orders, can't see one another, we don't know each other. Here only one thing counts, what counts is here to fight, as the threat of vengeance mounts with fumes of toxic spite. Heaven spits out flames, hissing blood coagulates, everyone goes the same way to the masquerade. Distant barrage. Female gas mask. We may not exhibit our gender or face. Duty prohibits. They're out of place. An entire life wasted between larvae and corpses. This night resonates like harps and trumpets, both arm in arm. The face and the sex, duty prohibits. No face or no sex, we have to exhibit. They disappear. 2 generals fleeing in a car. General speaking in sing-song. Further we cannot go, you see. The earth here is crumbling away. There is the Spanish cavalry, and obstacles blocking the way. The battle, I fear, has now taken a turn. Yet up until here we had a good run. When you come to our age, it's no longer a laugh. The danger we face is of meeting our death. Never to waver, for our men is a must. Run over those cadavers, or we'll bite the dust. What's up with that one? Could he not keep his head on? And him with both legs gone, his coat is missing a button. It's an outright scandal. I'm at the end of my tether. Hey, you there, dead corporal, get yourself together. That's truly tasteless. I'm losing my cool. Now he's napping, the waster. There's a war on, you fool. He's earless, on guard, you get yourself sorted. Don't you know this is war? I'll have you reported. It's making me sad, all the crimes I see here. Now drive over those dead, or we'll be history, dear. They drive off. Day breaks. 2 war correspondents in a car. They alight. Breeches, binoculars, Kodak. First war correspondent. I think it would serve us if we stayed here a little, for I've got the nerve to describe the battle. Second war correspondent. Yes, I have the impression something might happen all right. The enemy has kept this position well within sight. The first. Here they lie, the heroic dead. This is the very place. We'll publish it in black and red, and it will gain such weight. The second. Isn't everyone impressed when a soldier dies with a picture in the press and some mindful lines? The first. We are always up for stories about remarkable situations, and what will never bore me is the specific information. He approaches a dying soldier. The second. Could you, with a view to the end, put on an ecstatic face? I need to have the exact moment when your eyes break. The first. You have the presence of mind while you're still alive. There's plenty of time to give us some of the vibe. The second. What was it you felt? What was it you thought? How did you spend the finale of the battle you fought? The first. Listen, this will be savory. These details I'll highlight, and your death and bravery will neatly be notified. The second. This detail by itself alone will give the paper a boost, and the boss he will propose me for the Iron Cross, the dying one. Hurry, hurry, don't restrain. See how I'm in so much pain. A bandage, doctor, a bandage, relieve the pain. So long I've languished, wounded in anguish. They're bleeding, they're bleeding. They need a bandage, just a few more minutes left. Please don't let me bleed to death. Hurry, a bandage. That might be my last breath. Can't you see how my breath has almost vanished? Please, hurry, doctor. A bandage, a bandage. The first war correspondent. He won't speak, too much aching. He's becoming ever more static. He probably mistakes me for a field medic. The second. War is war. Listen, I'm coughing. We have a heavy task here. As to your bullet-spattered body, I say simply, c'est la guerre. The first. For wounds and their dressing I did not study to record our impression. For that we're paid money. The second. To report on the mood. That is our earner. A hero that's mute goes to the back burner. They turn to leave. The dying one. My wife, I beg you. What a terrible mess. Please take me with you to the hospital next. The first war correspondent. The things he desires, it's way out of bounds. You should just lie there and not make a sound. The second. For a simple soldier, it's quite an honor. Your picture will be published. What more could you wish for? The first. I swear to God, I guarantee a report will appear. I got here before death, you see, so look at me over here. The second. He has nothing more to say. I think it will be fine. I'll take his picture anyway, then we shall see in time. He takes a photograph. The first. Come, don't look so tediously sincere. It has to have some atmosphere. Pity the priest could not be here. You're on your own, I fear. The second. That would have been quite an effect for our readership at home. A genuine priest, live and direct, bent over the fallen hero. The first. We were at close polls. He did it with pleasure. I'm sure for him as well. It was a publicity measure. The second. Too bad when you need him. He's gone off to hell. There's smoke. Can you see it? No. Spoiled shot. All is well. The first. Let's go. We're wasting our time. Off to the press quarter. If we leave now, we'll be in time to catch the counter slaughter. The second. Sure, let's leave this place. That's perfectly all right. It's impossible for me anyway to take pictures in this light. The first. See, I have the impression something might happen all right. The enemy has kept this position well within sight. The second. There's no point in staying. A hero I am not. What should my article say then? An adventure at the front? They drive off. A sergeant is using a revolver to chase the platoon in front of him. Sergeant. March! I will teach you for dodging about. Die for the fatherland or I'll give you a clout. What do you think this is? I'll show you what. Now fire at the enemy, or I'll shoot at you lot. They disappear. A man who has been blinded, crawling along forwards, feeling his way. So, mother, thanks. I can feel your hand. Oh, it frees me from night and fatherland. I breathe in the forest and good fortune of home, and you're leading me back to your bosom. Now the thunders of the night have trailed away. I do not know what she wanted of me. Oh, mother, how your sweet morning dews. Soon I will be where God's eye dawns blue. He dies. The female war correspondent appears. Here he is, and it was well worth the hunt. I found the humble soldier at the front. A wounded man, crawling along, feeling his way. Curse you, Kaiser! I can feel your hand covered in poison, darkness in the fatherland. It smells of the plague in every decline. Your look is the gallows, your beard is the twine, your laughter a lie, your arrogance hatred, your anger too big for your lack of greatness, exceeding every limit and every measure. When to look great, the world you dissever, from the Rhine to the Ganges, the planets in tatters, on account of a second-rate heroic actor. But the old world you did not preserve. You plundered it with your medieval verve. Its dream was robbed of vitality by a global merchant of chivalry. You sucked the blood out of the best of its veins with your elaborate war and word games. It could never be born from fire and mud. You have lost the battle with your God. The revealed world thus manifested lost its sense thanks to your madness. Thus defined, it is industrial drivel, ready to be taken to hell by the devil, by God's scorn and not by his grace. You preside over smoke and sulphuric vapes, weapons of the Lord, whom we shall not praise until they throw you out with the other waste. Come and see how a star is born. When you rule the times with cluster bombs, your chancellor, your diplomat should wade through this sea of blood and tears instead. Curse you, Kaiser! And cursed be your breed. There is blood enough. May they drown in it. I die a German mother's son, but I'll testify against you before God's throne. He dies. A Death's Head Hussar appears with his followers. Death's Head Hussar. Ba-da-da-da-boom, ba-da-da-boom. The air here is my sweet perfume. The Death's Head Hussars, that is us. We are experts at our job. We are slender-waisted people, and we obliterate the sheeple. At first we may strike you as puppets until the enemy's eyes hang from their sockets, for it will never be the case. A Death's Head Hussar loses face. Now let the lads go to it and show them how we do it. Let them make it clear once and for all what they can do. The winner takes all. Ever since that fateful day at Marne against indolence I have warned. We'll have to wait until Verdun. Ba-da-da-boom, 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 ba-da-da-boom. My corset's too tight, I need more room. My father was a panther tamed, but I'm much harder at the game. I'm a jaguar, young and mean. The fatherland is under strain. I styled my moustache the British way. Not enough mortars have gone astray. In France, life could be so much better. We are far from finished with that matter. As long as one is young and graced by youth, one needs a lot of things to do. But before I sacrifice my guard, here should come my favorite bard. At 12 the attack, at 5 the vespers, but this can only be rhymed by Presper. Art is joyful, service doom. Ba-ba-da-boom, ba-da-da-boom. The group disappear. One hears a march, Novotny van Eichensieg appears. Novotny von Eichensieg. Yes, with guns and bombs from ranks and tanks, every day I greet the masses. Even in the hinterland, to the fronts they're being sent. Dodgers who aren't man enough will know the back of my hand. The common man, I get him every way I can, and God alone knows my span. Time-wasting scum goes straight back to the front and will be stabbed or hung. Suspicious shirkers and bloody deserters, to the field of honour I'll return them. Those who are shot in the belly and can't stand up with knees of jelly are punished with a front finale. 'Cause this is my domain and it's all the same. Before you're dead, you're already maimed. Everyone here is fit and fresh. This is what the doctor says. Principally, one is fit for service. No room for choice. Very well. Only figures are viable. It's all human materiel. Exit. Doctor of Engineering, Abendroth, from Berlin appears. Doctor of Engineering, Abendroth. To finally reach the final victory in the end, and then finally to be winning in every sense. The unbroken strategic power gorges up the last scientific resources. What was the use of our bombardments? Our gas was biting, but the enemy bit harder, and often the gases we released drifted back to our line on the breeze. After many futile repetitions, science comes to our assistance. Necessity breaks iron, so we're told, the iron they once gave for gold. Thus we threw it out and scrapped it. We will hold on to our native wit. As knights in spirit we reach for the sword. Long after the first flamethrower roared, we are determined to fight with gases and vapors. Even mines and blades are not beneath us. We love to dress up our deeds in language, from long before these arms were ever invented, and we still speak of tournaments these days, where we establish our glorious victories for all the chemical chicanery. The Germans fight in the spirit of chivalry. All that counts in these days of romance is to capture the enemy trench, and from German legends' many wonders, we choose the most radical one to honor. To prove the Hun's tale is a lie, we will dig deep in German mythology. I am the narrator, the inventor is me. This is for children who refuse to take heed, and who still think that we're the barbarians, though we have long made technical advance. The practical tale, the poetic means, is named and titled after me. I'm from Berlin, Abendroth is the name, and shining on early death is my game. Once upon a time, let me commence to win over my audience. Once there was a pneumatic plague, worse than words can ever describe, but science had long put it under the ground, and when they needed it, it couldn't be found. Here science revives it once again, as it has an ear for strategic demands. It supplied surrogates for all our needs to replace our lives, ersatz coffee, ersatz meat. So we will simply replace death too. The practical agent Abendroth is good for you. But even with our choicest gases, we merely scared the hares from the grass. Now there are no hares left in that place, thanks to our pneumonia plague surrogate. To make the world a hospital or burial ground, at first we were making far too much sound. Now we hope to strengthen our position. Since the enemy will die without noticing, a push on the button will soon be enough. 10,000 enemy lungs gone with a puff. No longer having soles, on sandals we stride, but when death sneaks up on its prey, it's more quiet. I was called on to demonstrate my art, thus the work will praise the master's part. The haters wanted to rob us of our victory, and now only a miracle can end their misery. In seeking a new direction for death, we're trying our luck with one last chance. And oops, before the enemy knows it, things in the west will be done and dusted. In front of our line, the corpses are strewn so that we can gain our place in the sun. My Abendroth crown, in the sunset it glows. In this war, I'm the cannon with the biggest blows. Tirpitz and Zeppel, I'm both taking on. God willing, this new plague of mine catches on. He pushes on a button. 3 brigades fall over silently. The children, they don't want to be bothered with this truth about the true weapons of our Holy Father. No watch on the Rhine could deliver so fast and so true as the Nibelungen pest. Necessity taught me this last command. Siegfried Abendroth, I'm your man. He disappears. Night falls. Hyenas appear bearing human faces. 2 hyenas, Fresak and Nashkats, are the speakers. They are bent over the corpses, left and right, and speak into their ears. Fresak. What more do you need? What do you want, eh? Here we are, wearing the masks of larvae. Don't be horrified by our beards and manes. We aren't human, we are just hyenas. You have not died in vain, be assured. That's why we're here on the field of honor. What you do not need, we take with us to save. Of what use are jewels or gold in the grave? Nashcats. You should be happy things have come to an end. For your losses we have made ample amends. You took off fresh to the field when they said so. You gave your blood while we took the dough. For us to win, it's you have to venture. Now there's a might at last to dispense here. We'll be the victors even when you are beat. The price of meat's rising. Blood's in retreat. Fresak, you can take it from one who knows. Soon you will no longer fit the emperor's clothes. Keep throwing grenades and bombs unrestrained, and let us have our financial gain. What a pleasure to be hanging out here. No need to freeze, no hunger to fear. We're well informed, word of honor. At present, coal and fat are 3 times as expensive. Nashcats, we whisper it into your ears. Better be thankful that you who lie here prop up the bank tills. Though capital grew on account of the banks, the merger with the slaughterhouse they cannot forfend. Count yourself lucky you lie there in peace. When bullets and banknotes are flying apace, each one of you is a hero. That much is sure. You swim in blood, and we in filthy lucre. Fresak, in the annals you will all survive. Death's free of charge. But you must subscribe. It wasn't us who started the war. We only wanted it, but you went so far. Of the profit we made, no one will sing, but as of you lot, all ears will be ringing. Your grandchildren will be telling you a story. Therefore, ours for us should never be sorry. Nashcats. My children came a hair's breadth from going to the front. It was sheer luck that they were not picked up. One of them far too honest to slip through the maze. Without him the business could not be maintained. The other too proud. So I went higher up in his place and sorted the affair. He was exempted in good grace. In a year the youngest one will be dismissed. You were young ones too. Life must be lived. Fresak. My boy had no protection, but got it arranged, and the talented one wrote victory's praise. Just as he was called up by the fatherland, the chap wrote a poem. In the archive it landed. He wanted out, so what, if he had the urge, and joined Ben Tiber to become a dramaturge. Now he's writing inside on what goes on outside. The youngest is unfit, to his great delight. Nashcats, you should appreciate the bargain settled. You died for wool, we live for iron metal. But yesterday, today, and tomorrow we must toil to fetch our leather, soap, and oil. One trades on the market, and to one's shame, one finds a dozen wagons added to one's name. Fine for now, but peace is on the winning hand. God knows who will build the next weapons plant. Fresak. God save us from misfortune. We need no talk of peace. We got through the hard times thanks to the war needs. We deliver, we supply, and even bestow. It would be a disaster if peace would win now. Why another weapons factory? We already have Skoda. Its impact is described so well by Rhoda. Rhoda, if you'd had enough, please be buried in the nude, so at least my wife can have her fur coat renewed. Nashcats, take our word for it. Life's bitter and boring. You dead lot for us should be mourning. Once it turns out we have suffered for naught, peace, there is the risk. I say no more than I ought. How little is left. I'll buy an estate for my son, and my friend will be made a baron soon. To each his own, to the hero of the sepulchre. We are the hyenas. For us, the leftovers. Chorus of hyenas. So be it, so be it. Now quiet, now quiet. The fight was mad delight, and it was your sweat and your effort, you bet, that made the prices rise. God knows, God espies, 3 more wagons of whites waiting on the tracks tonight. Get up and stay quiet. We're closing in from every side. So be it, so be it. Tango of the hyenas around the corpses. The wall of fire in the background has disappeared in the meantime. A sulphurous yellow glow covers the horizon when the giant silhouette of the Lord of Hyenas appears. The hyenas stand still and fall into groups. Lord of Hyenas, very short, black, grey-streaked, woolly beard and sideburns covering the face like a fur, and apparently of one texture with that covering the head. A vividly crooked nose, big bulging eyes with extensive whites and small piercing pupils. The stocky body is reminiscent of a tapir. He wears a 3-piece suit with a peak waistcoat. The right foot thrown forward, left hand, fist clenched, resting on the trousers pocket, the right pointing at the hyenas, a sparkling ring on the stretched forefinger. Attention! Stand straight. I am coming for the parade, and it pleases me. You have won the battle. Now show your mettle. The time has come to see. Don't be namby-pamby and beg with death for candy. Woe to him who still malingers. No, freely trample him with both your feet and give the Lord my warmest greetings, because we are the winners. He who managed to win the toss and succeeded in perishing on the cross, out of heart, once out of sight, I have shoved him to the side. Hell is now the place of light. Here I am, the Antichrist. Listen, they applaud him all, for stuck between 2 criminals, he made it to the end of his game. His few drops of dried up blood pathetically drip into the drums of power gone to waste. Love has been lessened, it could not have been prevented, what happened to our cheer. So listen, ye faithful, salvation is still attainable. The Antichrist is here. The unconquered revenge supported the right end, and I was its instrument. They went at it full tilt, thanks to my nimble quill. Only money is omnipotent. From all this strife and bickering, with pockets full of silverlings, we emerged victorious. What goes up must come down. The circle of old ideas is rounded. The war was lost by the cross. We who did the crucifixion step from the shadow of oblivion with our Judas pay. I'm another father's offering from his theatre of suffering. The Son of Man is sent away. For good evil he made way, he who tried to save the day. Now the world of him is freed, that it may without regret enjoy the loss of what it had, to heaven's great relief. It must revolt the hatred. Love was not created, never to cease or abate. Thanks to this world's annihilation, there's only one currency left in circulation that puts a smile on the devil's face. The world may go about on crutches, but progress has it in its clutches. It went out for business. What God forbids happens in spite. The devil's limping, that is right, and he could not care less. Despite handicapped hooves to push the prices through the roof, he goes to the bourse. There God's word is not holy, and the devil is in no hurry. Let the world run its course. I am his crucial factor, as I am the redactor of the final lie. Every soul is mine to take, and the very neck I'll break of all majesty. I will castigate the ghost, so make up for what you owe. Pay tribute to your master. After these deeds so immense, the new power falls into the hands of the double-spread advert. To live without restraint in every single way. Always be prepared, my brothers. Understand the future signs. Scan the corpses with your eyes. The epoch speaks in numbers. Grab every valuable you can. Snatch it from the other's hands. Give it everything you've got. Register it in your books, every last crown that you took, and balance your account of blood. Throw the old treaty away. As true as Moritz is my name. Our coup has worked out splendid, while the other shepherd got seriously peppered. My last name is Benedict. Thank God I'm not his family. The other world has no idea I am another Pope of Rome, for they all believe in me, those who plunder, rob, and steal, and profited from the war at home. The shameless and the cowards bow before my seated power. Money has just come into its own. May the magic always flower here in this my kingly bower. My kingdom has a worldly home, if not across corpses. The rich and the corpulent could never enter my empire. Though the world burns to the ground, its unity we will be bound. Black magic is all that's required. With its secret manipulation, ink calls forth a confederation of technology and death. So don't ever forget to express your thanks to blood and the printing press. There you have it, in black and red. It was with printer's ink of black I stabbed the arch enemy in the back. And because it was done this way, your next of kin you all must hate. Abandon them for Judas' pay. The Antichrist is here to stay. Waltz of the hyenas around the corpses, the hyenas. So be it, we march with pride, our stride is not quite the blood we imbibe. We march with pride, we drink it hot, we push up the blood, we push up the price. It is shed, it is wasted, savoured and tasted, we devour and press it, we push up the price. So be it, the battle was hot, we went at it fearless, we press out the blood. May our courage not fail, we stand side to side, we press the out blood and keep up the prices. It is shed, it is wasted, savoured and tasted, we devour and press it, we push up the price. We stride and we drive, we drink up the blood, we press it precise, we drive and we stride and we drink it hot, we push up the price. Sleep well, sleep well. Our stride is with pride. Rock-a-bye, baby, so be it, so bye. The hyenas lay themselves out on the corpses. 3 part-time employees appear. The first part-time employee. Dawn over darkness spreads out its schmaltz. The tango has triumphed over the waltz. The second part-time employee. And finally, joy joins us with distress. Look who we have here. It's the sales reps. The third part-time employee. The world recovers from arduous doings. There are business magnates and banking tycoons. The first. No longer in solitude I have to wander. I can already spot them among the others. The second. The goal within reach, it seems to me. I've already had opportunities. Third, we've had it as well with the movement of troops. We're seeing the build-up of different groups. The first, everything will be different once and for all. I can smell the morning air and the writer's ball. The second, it will outdo, no doubt, all its predecessors by far. Madame Fanto wears a supple dress of ecru crepe jacquard. The third, the balcony will hardly lose its glamour. I can already see the masses gather. The first, let us hope, God forbid, that it won't crumble. They've already started to gossip and mumble. The second, and here they are too, those who always attend. What else is going on? You can't apprehend. The third, Salvatore is such a nimble gape. 3 imperial councillors will emanate. The first, 2 consuls appear, whom one had missed, from the already long completed guest list. The second, no need to waste time reading the casualty lists. Everyone who matters is present without remiss. The third, things are done the old way here, and those who should be here are here. The first, it's teeming with stars and notables too. Whatever that means, we will report to you. The second, the general staff exempted, but Höpfer is present, and still every face displays fixed intent. The third, in this world historical carnival night, one knows for what one suffered one's plight. The first, still, I'd like to know how the enemy reacts, for hey, humor is coming back. The second, see, everyone is here of every rank. The young want to reclaim the right to dance. The third, I'm afraid we will see the end of this fest, see the devil dancing with the Black Death. They flee. Now the horizon is completely covered by plumes of smoke. A scarlet-flecked moon appears from behind the clouds, hanging there like black and yellow and coloured rags. On the field, a chaotic mishmash of regiments. 3 armoured cars appear, men and animals fleeing frantically, babbling voices. First voice, my bones are rattling, I shiver and shake. The assault has been broken by our grenade. Second, this affair will land us in the soup. We snatched up the position by a coup. Third, if the devil cares, let him deal with the offence. We kicked the enemy out of the trench. Fourth, what a treat we've been served by the Lord. 2 of ours have not returned. First, I foresee a battle with heavy casualties. We have taken men into captivity. Second, I'm afraid the enemy invades from the side. A baby and 2 civilians have died. Third, we made lots of direct hits today. 5 children who were out to play. Fourth, we're off foot soldiers and cavalry. Military losses, a triviality. First, those over there celebrating a murderous fair, and our brave Bavarian allies, my dear. Second, the situation's getting even more mad. That must be our lively Württemberg lads. Third, those who clearly face death with Elan are the Thuringians, Palatines, and Frisians. Fourth, the outcome of the action will teach you a lesson. With the hot-blooded Hungarians, there ain't no messing. First, to satisfy their ardour for aggression, we push them forward, the brave Bulgarians. Second, and those dragging and schlepping at the back end are our Turkish Kismet friends. Hold on, time for the orderly whip to come out. Here come the Germans, here come the Krauts. Fourth, the rain's pouring down, the terrain's getting weaker. Here come the jolly Austrian greeters. Now we're up for another nice mess. It's the long-awaited counter-offence, those. If you don't speak German to the enemy, you're a swine, a pariah. You're in the mess and we're in the mire. Various. What's going on? Are we all one in the end? Does the friend shoot the enemy or enemy the friend? Others. What good is this talk of brotherhood bonds? They're firing at us with our own guns. All. This is the worst of all crises we suffered. The assault was repelled with the least bit of effort. 1. We've escaped the worst. Above us the sky is changing colour to black and yellow tonight. Another. Oh, you're killing me. I'll laugh myself dead. Can't you see that the sky is black, white and red? First one. Nonsense. Just look for yourself, fellow. Above you it's black. Above us it's yellow. The other, heaven only knows what we had to fall for. Naturally, it shows us only our own colours, both. Anyway, he will kindly lead our advance. How pretty it is to fight man to man. 1. The story will end with us on top. Other, thanks to our excellent cannons by Krupp, we rely completely on our own worth. 1. With the help of God and the Skoda works, both, and yet we both fear to be left in the lurch. After all, we have the latest howitzers. Flashes. All voices mixed together. Yes, those there are dashing, and these here have flames. There they are full of envy. Let's smash them all the same. Fiery trails snake across the sky, red and green lights. What's going over there? What's the heck? Voices from above. The long-awaited counterattack. Voice from below. We are victorious. We're victorious. Chin up for our planes. Aren't they glorious? Voice from above. Yes, our planes with bombs of a different weight. Your military stronghold will annihilate. A lovely pastime with a boom. They kill the child still in the womb. Fiery stars cross and swords in the heaven. Look what splendour with medals and stars. The night so tender. Our killing rewards. Luminous balls, fountains of fire. The humble subjects are aware of the facts. With bunting and flags and with fire cracks. 3 comets appear. Voices from above. 3 fiery horsemen on fiery steeds. Hopefully they still meet your needs. Voices from below. They are coming to us as if shot from cannons, landing on our armoured wagons. Voices from above. They will not be unworthy of your thanks. They are machines of a completely different rank. Voices from below. Thanks, we have our tanks. Spare us the hustle, our apocalyptic motor buses. 2 ordinances enter. First ordinance. Let the Hosanna ring out. Let the Hosanna ring out. Bombs have landed on the Olive Mount. Second ordinance. Then the believer's ear will not be offended. The Mount of Olives has long been defended. First, sing the praises of the courageous best and praise the merits of the wise, the former who had explosive success and the latter with timely foresight. Second, those who pulled it off and played it well, let them not rest on laurels or thorns, even when thinking of something else, and they knew what they were doing wrong. Both. If instead of the cannon the cross takes a blow, the target is missed, but the intention still right. Not smashed to smithereens, we hope, the military damage very slight. A large bloody cross appears, voices from above. Now step back, it is a must. Show respect to our Red Cross. Voices from below. You can't keep up with us. Don't make us mad. We don't respect amen and no omen revere. As long as our emperor does not lose his head, no astronomer's ghosts will strike us with fear. It starts raining blood. Voices from above. Go back if you can and watch out. It's too dry down here. Blood will come down. Voices from below. Our newest tricks, you should be aware. Our war council planned long ahead of time. The enemy was ripped apart in the air, and now the blood pours down from the sky. The front will be joined in unity. Voices from above. When they fall together in harmony, voices from below. Weather permitting, we are stronger than ever, is what the General Staff communicates, voice from above. But we're hit with a different drill by the weather. The sky darkens, but your flanks are illuminated. It starts to rain ashes, voices from below. Oh, what a blessing, what a blessing. It's our arty rain of ashes. It starts raining stones. Throwing stones, an old procedure. Our hand grenades are much, much newer. The assaults won't touch us who for years have been hardened and steeled in crossfires. Voices from above. With that we have not advanced very far, but in time we learn it all, though among us there are wandering stars. Below us there are criminals. Voices from below. Every star is lucky that shines on Berlin. Your offensive is typical of a beginner's win. It starts raining sparks. A voice from below. I can't get it clear about this vision, and I'm here to form an opinion. Second voice from below. What is all this bark? What is all this bling? We're stuck in the dark, that's a sure thing. Complete darkness. The cinema crew. That can't be true, man. This is no light. We can never put on a show this way. Between the sketch, Willie has no respite, and the detective hit, no one escapes me. This can't be. We have contracts and scripts. We need blockbusters and not flops. Though the Isonzo film cannot be topped. We'll need more light for the apocalypse. A voice from above. It was for your endless splitting of heads that we held out to the victorious end. Now you must know, in recent times, Mars has broken off all communication lines. We have considered everything carefully and decided to wage war defensively. We've also determined to tear apart your planet with combined theatres of war and all your presumptuous earthly peers who dare to attack the heavenly spheres, and in every direction and every location have abused the image of creation, tortured animals, humans enslaved, honoured infamy and merit depraved, fattened the wicked, slaughtered the just, dragged their own honour through the mud, covering themselves over the goods of the earth, soiling language with their verbal whirls, and soul and sense, word and thought, and their hereafter reserved for export, and death, the devil, the world and God and art, all in the service of making a bob. Behind the means they hid the meaning of life, used their body as cover for their merchandise, as slaves to their needs and requirements, paying for existence with their own existence, themselves as the end product they endorsed, disputing with others on the primary resources, and never ending their commerce of hate, with money and toxins blinded their mate, and who in their ignoble nothingness were unworthy of light's eternal bliss, and under the ray of the stars and the sun conducted their bloody Armageddon, united in crimes from the east to the west, employing spirit only to murder the flesh, and in unanimous agreement from north to south, spend revenge in the air and poisonous clouds. They only prayed to murder better, from blood and not from shame to redden, slandered God, their own nature defaced, down to the very last living trace, who lied out of sight the blue of heaven, and with their coloured flags the landscapes threatened, who would feed on iron, but above all else, fatten themselves on victorious tales, bragging about their neighbour's woe, and cooking their soup in his burning house, stealing their food from another one's need, but never having enough for their own greed, heaping burning coal on the head of their fellow just so they can feel warm and mellow, and then tax insolently for this sensation, pushing up the price of their guilt with elation, plundering and pillaging, lying as they breed, with only their self-importance good enough to eat, invalids attending every victory bash, agents with a fresh syphilitic rash, merchants, heroes and mercenaries, bomb throwers, bacillus carriers, looters of imagination's treasury, underminers of their own economy, highway robbers behind the ideal, fortune hunters in the vale of tears, teachers, armoured with education, slick and knowing, armed to the teeth, but with malnutrition showing, powerful by the grace of their machines, arrogant and yet full of fake humility, subjects convinced of their own importance, of the Baghdad railway proud constructors, tricksters of the height and crooks of the depths, hyenas who do it with life and with death, pilots who are not heaven sent, slaves to technological advance, fluent in torture and technique, barbarians who use electricity and who, before dying, have the brilliant idea to deck out death with every luxury, so it can live on comfortably among them all, who, fleeing their origin, aspire to war. Not unfavourable to a negotiated peace, the universe has thus decreed. We from Mars are not out to raise hell, but if one attacks, one does it well. For the glory of the all, and all its pious, we have taken over your methods, both for research and for actual battle. Your science was immensely helpful. Seen through the telescope, we could not care less. Your Marshall planet was a dwarf in the magnifying glass. We just want to make the weather a little better. We would never expand at your expense, ever. The proof was difficult. See, here's the score. We've something special, or you in store. It is far from us to annex your land. For us, that would be an embarrassment. For peaceful works exploiting the cosmos, we simply want to express to protect our borders. Determined not to steal your goods, we will get it done through other routes. For war damages, you will simply pay by erasing the debtors from history and the spheres for all eternity. Need no longer complain of disharmony, no longer the hand of the thinker and the assassin into the ether will be grabbing. And no more transactions or battle cheers will invade the domain of our silent spheres. The universe has heard you talk too long. Eternity has already begun. You waited for a long time, and so did we. We remained calm, while you were hoping enviously, and to ensure that on your still hopeful planet, at least the final victory would happen, and to prevent any objections to this, we have successfully carpet-bombed it. A meteor shower starts. Voices from below. Go forth and kill. Another one. When the world will. A sea of flames. Voices from below. Give them your all, for better or worse. Resound the call. Universal thunder. Voices from below. To us that's news. What could that be? Fast and true. Downfall. Voices from below. The fire's searing. Who said what? Fatherland, dear. Come. Voices from above. A perfect storm. The night was mad. God's image died a gruesome death. Great silence. The voice of God. I never wanted that.